Want to help the channel? Go to shopclownfish.com where you can check out official Clownfish TV merchandise in our brand new shop. It helps us out. Also, check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/clownfishtv for more art and gaming live streams that we don't do on YouTube. We want to see you over there as well. Now let's get into the video. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And did you guys watch Hamilton over the weekend?
Yeah, well, apparently a lot of people did because it upped their download 70-some% over the...
70-some? So Hamilton is bigger than Baby Yoda now.
Apparently.
Apparently. Are they going to start?
I don't think he's bigger than Baby Yoda.
Does he like chalky milk? Anyway, we're going to talk about Hamilton and Lin-Manuel Miranda and Weird Al Yankovic and the Hall of Presidents and the weird Twitter call to cancel Hamilton because of things going on in the world right now.
Well, you know, to be fair, you kind of started that.
I didn't really technically start it. I just made an observation. Now,
you kind of started it again. It was mentioned a few years ago, and you kind of...
For the record, I like Hamilton quite a bit. And I thought
it was a fun first half hour. And I'm a person from a musical theater background and musical theater, and it wasn't bad. And I really appreciate some of the things they did with the music and the movements and stuff. But after a while, I kind of got bored. I think this is something you really kind of need to see in person. It does lose something when it's recorded. I think this is one that you have to be there because it's interactive. I don't think it translates as well. And then her screaming at the end, they had to actually explain it because no one understands what the hell's going on.
Yeah. When Eliza screams at the end, we thought she had a heart attack and died. And that's not actually what happened. Supposedly she's shocked she sees the crowd or something, I guess. I had to Google. I'm like, why does she scream? Is she dead? Is she dying? What's going on here?
Did she step on something?
Did she step on something? Did somebody leave a stray bullet on the stage or something? I don't know. But anyway, lots of people watched it, and there's been discussion at Disney. We've talked about this. This is kind of a follow-up to multiple videos we've done. One is that they supposedly have a committee put together at Disney that they're going to go evaluate all of the historical attractions.
Right.
Okay. And the first phase of that was Splash Mountain. But I will tell you, Splash Mountain, that change was in effect long before people were demanding it.
That rumor about it being, especially the Princess and the Frog, has been going on for a long time. There's been different iterations of it. What, Stitch, Pocahontas, Moana, but that's been going on since they even opened it. They were immediately like, this may not be a good idea.
Yeah.
They've been planning to do something. They just use this as an excuse to say, look how we're responding. They were going to do it anyway.
It was, and that's kind of the issue I had with this. Like, guys, you only are telling people about this now because there was a petition to change it and you just happened to be working on it. But
I think they could sneak it in and it fit.
Because
I knew if they just announced it without a reason, people were going to have a fit. Now they can use that cover, kind of like they do with the stocks. We'll make a big announcement when the stock's already falling, so we can cover it with that and say, "Oh, it's because of that, not because we did something stupid."
Right, but we know what the real motivator is at the end of the day. Princess merchandise is...
Yep, Princess IP.
Princess merchandise, Princess IP is going to sell a hell of a lot more than funny animal IP.
Do you know how much I charge for those damn dresses? I'm just saying.
Yeah, so that's what's actually going on with Splash Mountain. And, look, as long as they do a good job with it,
Yeah, I mean, I still don't know. But that wasn't the only one they were talking about, because after that happened, they have a group looking at possibly problematic rides like Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan. It's a small world. Carousel of Progress, but I've been hearing they're going to get rid of that one, and they had an animatronic issue. Maybe we'll shut it later. Yesterday. Some different things like American Adventure and Hall of Presidents and Country Bears, but Hall of Presidents and American Adventure are on the top of the list.
Yeah, Country Bears has actually been living on borrowed time for like a decade
they've been
now,
saying they're going to get rid of that for a while too. That's nothing new.
It's boring.
But the Hall of Presidents is boring too. I mean, let's be honest. Most people go in there, take a break to cool off.
Right. So let's talk about a rumor of what they might do to the Hall of Presidents.
This is a rumor.
The rumor is they might turn it into epic rap battle.
No, that's not what they're saying.
Basically.
Well, before that, the rumor was people were like, "Oh my God, they're going to turn it into Hamilton," and it's like there's a couple reasons why that's very unlikely. One being they spent $75 million on the theatrical rights. That does not mean they get the theme park rights, but that would cost them a crap ton more.
Yeah.
So they probably won't do that. Plus, I don't think they have the money to spend, tearing it apart and redoing it all.
Right.
So I don't think that's likely. However, then this came up that they might want to bring the Hamilton guy and Weird Al Yankovic in and have them make it a funny show.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm not really on board with Disney just kind of knee jerk reacting to everything going on right now and like changing all these attractions. Right. But Hall of Presidents is boring as fuck. It really is. And we saw this happen with Canada.
Sorry, Mom, because she likes the Hall of Presidents. Okay. And you said the F word. Anyway.
It is. It's very, very boring. In my opinion. Some people are like, it's the best ride ever.
But with Canada, he meant the Canada movie, not the Canada's boring.
No. Okay, I didn't get to finish my thought. Yeah, because now we're gonna get angry Canadians being like, Canada's not boring. This is what they did with O Canada originally. Now I haven't seen the newest version of the film because it dropped like a week before they shut the parks down. But they brought Martin Short in to make it funnier.
And now they have another version.
Yeah. So I don't know if this one's funny or not, but the Martin Short version replaced the original version, which was very dry, and I'm thinking they're gonna do something like that if this is true.
They're in there to make it wet.
They're in there to make it moist.
It was very dry.
They're gonna moisten the Hall of Presidents. I think if we're reading the rumor correctly.
Oh my God. Okay.
Well, one, Disney basically owns Lin-Manuel Miranda at this point. He wrote songs for Moana.
He's working on another musical, another movie they're doing sometime soon. He's working on songs for it already too.
Yeah, he was in Mary Poppins.
Right.
They basically own it at this point.
And Weird Al has done stuff for them before too. So these two, because he was in
Phineas and Ferb, he did the theme song.
And Murphy's.
Oh, yeah, Milo Murphy's Law.
Yeah. And those two apparently are really good friends. So it's not as unusual a pairing as you think. Apparently, they're really good friends. But here's the rumor. It comes from WDW Magic, and of course, it's WDW Pro again.
Most disliked person on Magic at this point.
It seems to be the case.
But you know what? I think a lot of what he says, it has a feeling of truthiness to it because some of it jives with what we're hearing on the back end.
Right.
And not that we have all kinds of inside information, but we do have people come to us, cast members and such, and people working within the Disney company, because believe it or not, we actually did work around the Disney company for many, many years, coming to us being like, hey, this is what they're thinking, take it or leave it. But again, what the company is talking about possibly doing and what they finally do sometimes can be two different things. It also depends on money. Disney's kind of running out.
And right now they don't have money. But here's what he said. So put this one in the rumor category for now because it's not a done deal as of yet. However, with 3 separate sources reporting the same negotiations to me, I am certain things are being worked on, whether they come to fruition or not. What I've been informed of is that Disney is interested in getting away from the polarization inherent in Hall of Presidents because, history is problematic as it currently is formatted. Yeah. They're also interested in not spending large sums each time a new president is elected. Therefore, Disney has reached out and is in talks with Lin-Manuel Miranda and Weird Al Yankovic to write and direct a new Hall of Presidents theater show that would be a nonpartisan and more timeless. This would not be a direct import of Hamilton, but it might feature some influence. I have no info whatsoever about the animatronics, the costumes, but I can't fathom Disney discarding them. I'm told the vision of the show is historical but witty. While I've been somewhat displeased with Disney as of late, I have to say this rumor could actually turn out well. If they can thread the needle of being humorous, witty, historical, and interesting, all while not being offensive, I'm all for it. Good luck with that. Yeah. Weird Al potentially being involved took me seriously by surprise, but I can see this working in a zany way.
It might.
And all Kneon kept saying was, what is this, Epic Rap Battles? The Hall of Presidents edition?
It is. It's going to be Epic Rap. Look. Yeah, I mean, this might actually be okay. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. It depends.
I can see it going too cartoony, caricaturish too.
Right, but the thing is that like, look what happened when they put Trump in the Hall of Presidents. They basically shut it down for like 2 years because they were afraid to open it, and then they had to put like guards at the because like one person was booing the animatronic. But yeah, I can see from just a financial standpoint, it could be like, look, every time there's a new, potentially every 4 years we have to build a new animatronic and rewrite the show.
It would be expensive, yeah.
Most Disney shows, they go on for years. This one, they could maybe be like...
They don't rewrite the show, they just give them a speech.
Yeah. But still, they have to change. I mean, this way, if it was, just hypothetically speaking, if it was good enough, You know, and it had a timeless quality to it. They could just focus on, you know, major presidents, you know, Washington and Lincoln and, you know, whatever, and then just kind of like have the rest of the presidents in the back kind of, you know, I don't know, bebopping or something, like a choir to the epic rap battle of Washington and Lincoln with Weird Al Yankovic. And no, okay, maybe it's gonna be.
I have no idea. All I keep thinking is they're worried about the animatronic being expensive. Why don't they just do what they do like in Frozen? You know, the Frozen ride where they just have the ones with the faces projected on it. Then they could just have one animatronic and they just change the faces on them.
That would be really weird.
I know. If I'm saying new president, no problem. You know,
that would be.
Pat him out, thin him out, change the face.
Oh my God, I could just see that like just going so wrong. We get like.
Well, the worst one was poor Lincoln when he started bleeding red fluid. That
yeah.
Tell the story real quick because people might not be familiar with that story.
Mr. Lincoln in Disneyland. Now that is Disneyland's basically Disney World. This shows how much bigger Disney World is. Disney World gets the entire Hall of Presidents. Disneyland gets Hall of President.
Yes.
So Mr. Lincoln at one point he started bleeding hydraulic fluid, and people were mortified.
It was red.
They thought he had been shot.
But now they use clear fluid. I think they don't use red.
Yeah, that was pretty horrifying because sometimes these animatronics.
Oh, and speaking of animatronics breaking, so yesterday, John from the Carousel of Progress decided to have a moment.
This is what he's got. Okay, they're gonna bring him into the Hall of Presidents, and he's gonna be, you know, kind of whooping and hollering for Lincoln and Washington, rapping,
right. Woo.
doing a rap battle.
So the dog's looking on like, what the fuck? And he goes back like, hey, how's it going? Okay.
He breaks all the time.
He lost his hand a few months ago, too.
Yeah.
So people have gone in and put music because it had no sound to it. So they have now gone in and put different songs to it. One was I Whip My Hair Back and Forth. We have Bohemian Rhapsody, things like that.
Well, okay, here's the thing, though. This guy goes back to what some people were saying a couple months ago, and people thought they were crazy. They were like, some of these animatronics, if you take them offline for a long time, it's going to be hard to get them started again because they're going to have time to kind of atrophy, especially older
or have
animatronics.
Things pull up where they shouldn't be or whatever.
Right. And the Carousel of Progress has been down for several months.
Well, this also kind of goes along with a lot of people are saying that they think they're going to take the Carousel of Progress out. That has been a rumor I keep hearing. Hopefully they just, you know, fix it. But I'm hearing that they might get rid of it. And we have seen before, we saw it with the Great Movie Ride, when they decide that they don't want to, they're going to probably get rid of something, they stop fixing it.
Yeah.
And we saw it with the Great Movie Ride. We were on there right before they announced it was closing. A whole bunch of the animatronics didn't work. So we kind of heard a rumor that was coming. So we weren't surprised, like right after we got back, they announced that it was going to be closed within a month.
Yeah, you know, I love the Carousel of Progress because it's like one of the few things left in the park.
We always go see it.
Yeah,
always.
that are like 100% Walt Disney. I mean, he oversaw this thing. He loved it. And I personally think it belongs in Epcot. Why
do you think it belongs in Epcot?
Because,
I never understood that.
Well, because...
It doesn't belong in Tomorrowland, I know that.
No, because it does feel like it's the... Well, then they used to have the prototype City of Tomorrow, which they had pieces of it on the...
People Mover. But there's a rumor they're gonna retheme that to Incredibles.
Oh, God, stop. I mean, I get they have to change things, but... you know, what's going on now is they're supposedly going to go through and do an audit. Again, this is coming from Pro on the Magic Board, do an audit of all these attractions that have historical or political...
Possibly problematic things.
Possibly problematic. At that point, I'm like, let's just everything's current year. You know, I think people understand. People, look, for me personally, going forward, if you're still making the same mistakes going forward, that's one thing. If you did something 30, 40 years ago, 50, 80 years ago, I think people understand.
It's a product of its time.
It's a product of its time. You know, the Carousel of Progress, there's a big disclaimer that it was at the World's Fair, Walt Disney loved it, yada, yada. It's dirt old. I think people get that. You know, I think they get it. But...
it follows one family throughout, you know, originally went to the 60s, and then, you know, now it's like supposed to be like turn of the century, and it looks like really dated. But... I'm still trying to figure out what's so bad about it.
I think because of it sort of idealizing how great life was in the 40s and 60s, and look, it was a commercial for GE.
Yeah, that's what
this was. I mean, at the end of the day, it was a commercial for GE for the World's Fair. It was so popular, they put it in Disneyland, and they moved it from Disneyland to Walt Disney World when it opened because they wanted a major draw. And at the time, it's hard to believe, it was a major draw.
Mm-hmm. Now it's stroller parking.
Now it's stroller parking. but I love it. We freaked the cast members out that one time at rope drop.
That was funny.
At rope drop, we ran to the Carousel of Progress.
We walked there, but else ran to go ride Space Mountain, because we were just there that morning, and we had already been and rode everything the day before. We just hadn't got to Carousel of Progress yet, so we had went over there just to do that, and we got to the rope drop, and they didn't know what to do because no one ever shows up there at rope drop.
Nobody ever goes to so we were like there, and they're like, "What? We got to turn it on." We got to turn it on? We don't turn this thing on until 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
No, it wasn't like that. But yeah, it was funny.
We got good seats.
Yeah, we were the only ones there. So it's just, I don't know. It's just a rumor, like several rumors we keep sharing with you guys. But
so let's talk about the potential fly in the ointment.
Okay, yeah, that you accidentally started with, and everybody else was jumping on.
I don't even know if I start or what.
No, because you put it up like way before these other people.
Okay.
Explain it, because you're the one who did this. This is your fault.
This was me being tongue-in-cheek. And like everything else now, you can't make jokes. You're not allowed to make jokes because some people will take you seriously.
Maybe you're just pointing out the hypocrisy was what you're doing.
I was pointing out the hypocrisy because Disney at the time was rumored to be changing all of these historical attractions, and I'm like, yeah, but you guys just paid $75 million for Hamilton, and George Washington had slaves, and Alexander Hamilton bought slaves for his in-laws. So if it's problematic because of that, then you guys are going to have to cancel Hamilton too.
I also love how they have no problem spending money with pictures of slave owners on it. Yeah, I'm just saying.
So, and again, it was just an observation. I'm like, if this is true that they're going to audit all of the Disney parks, then they're going to have to take a look at Hamilton,
too. It was mostly to show them that you can't audit everything.
You can't audit everything.
And there's a limit to how ridiculous this can get.
Now, I cited an article by a Harvard professor, actually, of history from like 5 or 6 years ago, where...
Woman of color,
where she had problems with Hamilton, too. Not that she hated it, but she was like, look, it does kind of... gloss over stuff. I'm like, well, there's only so much you can fit in a 2-hour play, which Lin-Manuel Miranda had to address it over the weekend.
Way to go.
I don't know if it was me, but I did put the article out there.
You had it out before everybody else jumped on it.
And I was just like, look, guys, at what point do we stop trying to rewrite history? Like, I'm all for, taking out truly problematic things, if there are truly problematic things. But if we're going to just cancel all the historical attractions and you got Hamilton, you're banking on Hamilton, it's kind of little. But I was very tongue-in-cheek about it, and I even said I don't want Hamilton to be canceled. I'm just pointing this out. Anyway, apparently Twitter took it seriously, because Twitter takes everything way too seriously. And they said that there's a lot of backlash to Hamilton now on Twitter, because now people forgot about that article from 5 years ago until I brought it up again as a joke. And now they're supposedly calling for the cancellation of Hamilton. Lin-Manuel Miranda has to respond to his critics on Twitter.
That wasn't our intention. We're sorry.
I am very sorry, Lynn. That was not my intention. I was just trying to say, hey, at what point do we stop retconning the past and own it?
Acknowledge it and move forward and do better.
Move on. Again, I'm all for doing better moving forward, but when you want to go back and pretend that movies weren't made, or pretend that things were different,
you pretend people didn't earn the awards they earned and were record,
right.
It was important, events, then go ahead, but you're pretending.
Yeah. So apparently on Sunday, somebody on Twitter ran with it. Tracy Clayton, host of the Netflix podcast Strong Black Legends, tweeted that Hamilton, the play, and the movie were given to us in two different worlds, and our willingness to interrogate things in this way feels like a clear sign of change. Earned 32,000 likes.
You know what they're saying on Twitter? I looked into it. Their argument is you shouldn't say anything bad about Hamilton because they turned around and gave actors that weren't white jobs on Broadway. So you're supposed to just, let it go because of that. But I'm like, if Disney's going around and having to re-record everything and making sure actors have to stay in their own lane, then they promote Hamilton. And I'm not trying. I have no problem with it. I personally have zero issue. I think the people who played the characters did a fantastic job. I thought they did great. I mean, I thought it was boring, but they hired really, really good people, and I had zero problem with people not being white playing white characters.
Yeah.
However, if you're going to argue that we have to recast everything because it's not diverse enough and people aren't playing the characters that they represent, how can you support Hamilton?
Right. Well,
that's the joke.
Right. That's
the conundrum.
I don't know if it was me. I did put an article out there because I remembered this article from 4 or 5 years ago where I was like, are you serious? Like, they're going to complain about Hamilton. Yes, she did. But she even said, if you read her entire article or post on the Harvard website, she said she was not calling for the cancellation of Hamilton.
Which we stressed too.
Right. Just wanted to point out that,
the hypocrisy of it all.
Right. The history is, problematic, and it is a sanitized version of American history. It's an entertainment product. It's not meant to be a history lesson. It's based loosely on history. Obviously, Hamilton didn't rap.
Yeah.
Surprise, Hamilton didn't rap.
He doesn't really rap either, though.
No, he sort of talks and everyone else sort of raps and sings around him and stuff. But anyway, I did like a week and a half ago. Next thing you know, everybody's like talking about it. And I'm like, God, you people have, one, you can't take a joke. And two, you guys have
it wasn't really
the
a joke.
memory
It
of
was more like a, well, fine then. If you're gonna, it was a joke in the fact that we're pointing out how dumb it is what you're trying to do.
Yes.
And how how the hypocrisy of it all, because you're totally fine with going extreme here, but you're not. If you're gonna make money, you'll forgive this, and it's just stupid. At the end of the day, it's just stupid.
The Hall of Presidents is problematic because several of the presidents had slaves, but let's pay $75 million for Hamilton.
With money with slave owner faces on it.
Yes. So at what point
Watch them get rid of money now.
I don't know. It's all gonna be Bitcoin anyway. No,
that's right.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, like, which is it? And that's the thing. And once you go down that path of trying to retcon history, where does it stop?
That was the point.
That was the point. And I specifically said I'm not calling for Hamilton to be canceled or anything. I just
our
want to point
daughter
out,
would be very upset.
Yeah, she would be. And I was just like, hey, at what point do we stop this? And Reason puts this out. They said approximately 2 people want to cancel. Most people wouldn't. I just want people to stop and think, like, again, you retcon history, where do you stop?
Right.
When does it stop?
Why is this problematic, but this is the exact same thing and it's not? That's what we're trying to point out.
Yeah, but again, nuance is lost.
No, it's not about nuance, it's about money.
It's about money. Well, yeah, and Disney made a lot of money because a lot of people probably subscribe to Disney Plus just to watch Hamilton. It's better than paying $800 a ticket to go see it at the theater.
But I'm just surprised they didn't have to go and just voice over the actors with people that weren't different ethnicities, because the characters were actually white people.
You can't say that.
But I'm just saying,
I know you're saying
stay in your own lane.
Stay in your lane.
Because at the end of the day, most people don't have any issue with this at all.
No.
They have no issue with Hamilton. They have being played by people that aren't white. They have no issue with other characters that are legacy characters being played by people that aren't staying in their own lane on every little aspect. I mean, most people understand acting's acting, and it's stupid to like say Phil Lamar can only play black people. I mean, it's dumb, and most everybody agrees with that.
Yeah, most normal people do, but we're talking about Hollywood and we're talking about Twitter. You get Hollywood and Twitter together and they do crazy, crazy shit because neither one are living in the real world.
No.
And everybody forgets about the 95% of people that are still sane. I'd like to think that 95% of America is still sane.
I don't think it's that high. I'll say 80.
80% of America is still sane. But I guess we're going to wrap this one up. Okay. Yeah, Hall of Presidents is going to get probably get a refurb. I don't know. But you know what, though? We could have President Kanye in the Hall of Presidents, too, and that could be a lot of fun.
That would be
that would be an epic rap battle.
There you go.
So there we go. All right, guys. Talk later.
Bye.
Hey, guys. Thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.